sync sound. And now should be able to have everything. Okay. Oh, that's good. That's even better.
I can do some switching on the brushes. That'll.
Yeah, there you go.
Could you actually?
Quick demo if you got time.
Okay, I'll kick it off, and then we'll just go around, I think. So, hello, LudoNarraCon. This is Team NeoCab. It's been a while since we wrapped it, y'all. Can't believe it's LudoNarraCon again this year. And this is going to be the NeoCab Chance Agency team 6 months after shipping catch-up. Because, yeah, it's like just about 6 months since we came out. We came out October 3rd officially.
Yeah, find that.
Wow.
Like that.
Wow.
Yeah, this is all that's left. Everyone else was wiped out. Not from COVID, but from
Long before. On October 4th.
from separate curses, like The Exorcist.
Common cold of last autumn.
Yeah.
We all had compromised immune systems.
Yeah, Andrew was run over by a horse. Joel went missing in the woods. Goes on and on.
Oh God, yeah, we're all suffering from sheltering in place madness at this point.
Speak for yourself.
I have only grown stronger and sane. She's frighteningly sane now.
Oh man, you're coming in just a tad hot, Patrick. Just to give me a heads up.
Oh really? The sound is bad?
Yeah, no, your audio. It's just like I don't know. It's picking you up.
Yeah, I wonder if
That's
that's
like buzzing out.
device. Fudge. Let me see if I can fix that real quick.
You can just edit this out. So everyone do this, and then take a break. And when it's back, we'll do that again.
Yeah.
Got it.
Perfect
That's pretty
continuity.
So
And I have a mustache when we come back.
Yeah.
You need to
Is that
stop
better?
me.
Is that better?
yeah, it's a little bit better. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the people are using Snapchat filters like full on in work chats now. That's like a NeoCab moment where
Yeah.
you know,
Wild.
Fiona's arc is coming true.
Yeah, like somebody turns themselves into a potato and then stays a potato. That was my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's like my manager laid me off and he forgot that he was a potato, so I just totally got severance from a stud.
From a potato, yeah.
Yeah.
We should have done that, Vincent, instead of making Fiona all beautiful. Just with like totally bizarre. Like my boyfriend thinks I'm a giant broccoli.
And but she is. And she is a giant broccoli. That's the real gimmick of the
No. She's a cauliflower.
Oh man.
Okay, let's get back on track. We just unfroze. So I think the first thing, the first like table topic I want to throw out, and we can just like go crazy later, is sort of like what was everyone's like feeling right after shipping? Like it's not everybody here's first game, but it's some of our first games. So like I think I think NeoCab fans might be interested to know like what was the launch like for us, like how was that initial feeling of it being done, and then like maybe what our favorite. Well, maybe just start there for like us personally. What did like letting this game out into the world feel like?
Okay, I'll go. All right, so this was my first game that I completed or I worked on, and it felt really strange in ways that I think are more like commonly spoken about now that are all working from home. It felt like this thing that I had done with my buddies in my apartment for 3 years, and then it was out in the world, and I was seeing people talk about it like on Twitter and in the press, but it just, I don't know, we never got the like balloon drop or like equivalent. We did have a launch party, which was awesome.
Yeah, that's
We
good.
see each other all in person.
That's
But when
cool.
it actually came out, it just felt like, I don't know, it felt surreal.
Yeah.
To jump on that same idea, I wonder if that's like because we all kind of, I think there was a lot of kind of stop and start of the launch. I know we all experienced that and we all talked about that, and that that could have definitely contributed to that feeling, because I know too, like I remember like well, yeah, seeing all of you fine folks finally in person. I mean, I'd met, Vincent in person before, but never the three of you. Finally to do that, the launch party was amazing. But yeah, I remember even us all talking about it and just like this feeling of like, and just like almost like a feeling of being lost a little bit. Like, I think, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of emotion around that time for sure. And it was also just like the feeling of like something ending, kind of like very like, last day of, like 10th grade vibes, or something, friends moving off or something. I don't know. There were like, heavy vibes for me a little bit.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that just occurred to me. We didn't introduce ourselves, so in a 10th grade way, maybe we should just all go around, say our names, what we did on the project, and maybe what the yearbook would say about us.
I'm a Chad Buntington from Tuscaloosa. Yeah. Is that what you were?
Captain of the crew team. You were voted like most likely to use Rohypnol in a romantic encounter.
But I'll go since I've already made a dumb comment. But I'm Joe, and I made the music for NeoCab. Hi.
And I'm Vincent. I was the art director for the game. And I think what would my have a bitchin' summer maybe is that.
Don't change
Bitchin'. Wow.
Old school 90s, maybe not nearly as appropriate now, but the vibe, the sentiment is true.
I'll just go because I already spoke. My name is Paula Rogers. I was writing lead and story editor on NeoCab. I don't know, man. I hated high school, and I don't know what to say about it. Weird art girl, if that was a superlative. I think I had that one. Did she go here?
I'm Laura, also a weird art girl. Was the technical artist and worked on the UI on NeoCab.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
So many more things. Did we really lose Andrew? So sad.
I think we did, yeah.
Other calls. Damn it. Well, Andrew was here, and maybe we'll drop back in, who is a programmer and writer, and man of many hats and talents. I'm Patrick, creative director, also wore a lot of hats. God, in high school, let's be honest, like class clown. But that reminds me of like the difference between the class clown and the class comedian. You guys ever hear that one?
I think I heard this, yeah.
The class clown is the guy who like puts the glue on the teacher's like chair and then like puts the feathers like under, like orchestrates that. But the class comedian is the kid who told him to do it. Yeah. So I think I was more of a class clown though.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
It was fun. I recently went back to my high school reunion, the notable 20 high school reunion, and I told my wife as we were going in there, I said, I don't think anyone I know is going to be there, and they're all going to say that I said, when I was in high school, I just kept to myself and like drew the whole time, and then that is literally word for word what everyone said about me. Like,
that's how they're you.
Like, this guy was drawing all the time, and I was like,
I love to draw.
Noted. Yeah, they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, still drawing, bro. Still drawing.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hated high school too. Who did? It sucks.
Yeah, it's terrible. But also, there's like, I was gonna say that too. Like, yeah, the nerd shit is like, I still like, I'm like so like looking back on that, I'm like, oh yeah, I was like definitely in my own like dank ass nerd space. Like I didn't want to hang out with people. I was like friendly with everybody. But like I was content to fucking like socially distance back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could you imagine now like how nerd shit is like the predominant culture now? We would all be fucking kings and
I wonder.
I would be homecoming king. No one knew more about Marvel characters than me.
I think so. Yeah.
No one knew about weird music and stuff than me at my high school. I'd be like, they would like have carried me out of graduation on their shoulders now, but instead no one knew my name. and they just need me this weird ghost who would draw everyone.
Yo, this guy loved to draw.
It's funny, I criticize Animal Crossing for like every character only has one personality trait and nothing else, but then you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you would sit next to you on the island. No, it's like the trial.
Hey, this is a pretty cool island. Mind if I move in? We just met. Totally not creepy.
Thanks for coming to my house at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
What animal would you be if you're an Animal Crossing character?
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't played it.
Yeah. But you could pick any animal. This question for you, Paula, is just what animal would you be if you could be an animal that was a person? Like a Fantastic Mr. Fox type deal.
Okay, I think. Well, you guys go first because my answer will be stupid.
I want to hear yours now. I want to hear that.
Yeah, I know. Now I don't care about anyone else's answer.
No, I want to hear yours.
I think I'd like to be a dolphin, but I know that means I have to stay in water.
Oh,
But they're
good
like,
point.
I think that dolphins are just more social than I am. But I could like get down with like a pod, but I don't want to be like an isolated humpback whale just doing my thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I'd probably just be like the dolphin equivalent of me, which is like most dolphins aren't too much.
I'm imagining
That's amazing. That was amazing, Paul.
Dolphins with little legs and beach shorts.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, keeping
I mean,
the theme.
Yeah.
Sandals.
I mean, in the same way that we humans will jump in the water, I wouldn't imagine that a human dolphin wouldn't jump out on land for as long as it could handle it.
Yeah.
Stomp around.
I mean, if a raccoon could be a person, then why can't there be a dolphin person?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all.
Oh, so I had to get the blowhole manicure, you know.
Huh?
Wiling out on chat.
It's the funniest thing I've thought of it.
We're like 10 minutes in and we're at blowhole manicure. I love it.
Yeah, I'm like, do I just ask questions about what a blowhole manicure is? Or do I just do I hit Paula up in her DMs and ask that question?
Check
Anytime.
TV art for that phrase would be my one.
I want to know what your vision
Fabulous. There'd be some gems around the edge. Do some blowhole art. Maybe
A blowhole jazzle? Is that what?
Unbelievable.
Oh man.
You know, if I was really fancy, I'd do the French blowhole manicure, which would be a ring of white.
This is a family stream, okay?
This is wild.
Family event, and
Oh God, I should go.
Never mind. Anyway, Neocab, that's a game.
Neocab, yeah. It's out there. You should check it out. Steam, Apple Arcade, Nintendo Switch. It's good. It's good stuff.
Gosh, what are we even talking about? I have no idea.
We had gone from high school to animals, and we're just so far.
Oh yeah. So post Neocap, I guess you could say we're doing fine. We have a lot more time on our hands to dump creative energy into things that are not Neocap related. And
Well, I mean, we should add that we've been planning this chat, line for line for 4 weeks. I mean, we've had a lot of bandwidth, so.
I know, yeah, I know. Patrick's going a little off script, but you know what? He's got to make it his own.
I always do, don't I?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I answered that question about when it came out, how I felt. But it definitely, I think surreal is the only word for it. I mean, I've shipped games before. This one was extra special just because it was, it was just such a personal game, and seeing it land the way we wanted it to land with people was really special. Once the game was out on the Switch, it was like, hey, look, there's a game on the Switch. Like, of course. But also, it was just like launching anything and watching other people play it is like having this weird out of body experience. But I think one of my favorite things that happened is Paul and I had this old friend from college who I have not talked to in a long time, but I always follow him on social media, and he's a delightful person named David Marini and a great writer too. And he sent us a really sweet message like, "Hey, I played your game, and like just was really special." I don't know it verbatim, but it was basically something of that nature. And it was just great to be able to like reconnect with someone through your work, and it's like, oh, of course, like you're the person I'm making this game for. That it hit those kinds of people was really special. And yeah, so some of the reviews just like even now, like some reviews come in on Twitter and trickle in, and people just really, really get the game, and it's fantastic. So that is like, really that's a really special feeling. See, I brought it back.
You did it to me too. Like right after it came out, not that long after it came out, it was actually the weekend of the launch party, and you and Paula and Andrew, Vincent, were all out in LA for the Indicate Awards. Yeah. And I was with Patrick. We just met in person earlier that day, and we were out to dinner with Patrick's Lady Ginger, and we were all sitting there, and then he just like looked at his phone and he's like, "We won." And we were all thinking like,
yeah.
And you guys are there, like, doing the award thing, and that was an amazing memory, like post-launch, like really cool vibes.
Yeah, that was really awesome.
Good speech too.
It was a great speech.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a really good speech. My speech was just going to be something really stupid. Yeah,
you just did the gesture. That's all you had to do.
Yeah.
The speech is implied.
I'm really up here to just talk about Temple of the Dog. If you got any bootlegs, hit me up.
Yeah.
We were talking about that before we were recording.
Grunge supergroups, Temple of the Dog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really a metaphor. Yeah, no, it was awesome speech. It's a crazy, it's funny though. It feels like things around the game have had like. That was a really weird night because LA was on fire, like literally, like LA, like Malibu was on fire, and so Indicate had this like outdoor event. It was at an outdoor event, and it was like there was ash falling from the sky, and it was like you could smell the smoke and stuff. It was really nuts. It's such a crazy. We were like, man, this is a crazy experience, and then all of a sudden, this joyous thing happened. We're like, this is amazing, and now we're here. It's just weird. Like there's a part of me that feels like we like had foretold this weird future in the game, and like a lot of it is sort of like oddly come to pass, and it's just like really, it's a really bananas thing to have happen. Like since then, like Cybertruck became a thing, and like that would have been like such a NeoCap ride.
Yeah.
To like catch the person presenting Cybertruck right like that night and talking about how the windows were indestructible, and then the second ride he's like, so it broke on stage. It's just it's the craziest thing. So like weird stuff like that has been kind of interesting just to feel like. And I've been watching, the latest season of Westworld, which is beautiful, and I have no idea what's happening. But every now and again, like a prop or a car will pass by, and I'm like, that looks very much like our game. And it's just kind of fun to feel like you're kind of ahead of the curve in terms of where a lot of the notes that media is starting to hit now and catch up to. But it's really special to feel like, I don't know, I just feel like you're onto something,
Totally.
Yeah. So I don't know if anyone else has had that same feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of like, yeah. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
No, I was gonna say too. Even your time when you were in China and Hong Kong, just another thing too that just like felt like super prescient to be like, to spend like nights looking for riot sounds, and then to be watching Patrick's like dispatches from Hong Kong like each night getting more and more intense, and like actually like feeling like boots on the ground. It was crazy to like follow that.
Totally. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. in this conversation, but it's true. When I was in Hong Kong and mainland China during the protests, I was constantly thinking of the themes of the game from just like the way that people were sort of already socially distancing before before coronavirus, although like that started just after I left, and then just the unrest of like people turning against each other without necessarily knowing why yet, like a society that was sort of like split in two. Kind of, yeah, it just reminds me of some of the themes in our game of characters talking past each other, like Anthony, recent Anthony, or then Anthony and Lena, like people from different worlds like coexisting in the same space but not really connecting. That all felt like it was just like playing out in China at that time, and then that's the one thing I feel like if we had like a lot of like energy and funding, like in the beginning of 2020, like there was a lot of opportunity to tell Los Ojos stories in plague times, right?
Yeah.
Because
I can't help but thinking about that and like thinking of like a character in like masks and like how that would change everything.
Yeah.
But I think with this stuff, it's like it's interesting because I had never written anything dystopian or even like slightly dystopian. I don't think that New Cat really is, but it's like these things you don't want them to come true.
Right.
And so seeing them happening also just that is a strange feeling.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to turn things. Well, actually, first, Laura, did you want to go about like just talking about your feels?
Yeah. I'm just gonna +1 the surreal feeling, and I feel like for me that started when we were in Portland. Like when the game really started to come together, we were all kind of like working really hard to get to that point. And once people were playing it, like once you could actually see people experiencing it, from that point on, like it was all surreal for me. So this was my first game, so yeah, just seeing that process was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was gonna suggest a topic which is like favorite reviews that you've read, either from fans or critics. I was gonna start with one, and just because like I don't know if a lot of people know this about me. I'm sure no one off the team does, but like I don't really read reviews. I picked this up from Sean Vanneman, who I worked with on Firewatch. He like didn't read reviews at all because he was like afraid it can really distract you. You can focus too much on them and take your eyes off just like what do I think is going to work. So, and plus you're also afraid of someone tearing it down and saying your shit's stupid, and that would hurt really bad, right? But I just like randomly found this one player review on Steam when I think I was literally just like trying to find a Steam dashboard to like get some metrics to like pay Joe or something. I accidentally read a review as a result of this. And it was like exactly what I needed to hear at the time, so I wanted to just share it here. Yeah, just because this is an example of, I think, like that rare thing where like, oh, this total stranger who didn't have to spend their time to like share this is sharing how the game made them feel, and I think this is like exactly how we wanted people to feel about the game. So I just wanted to share this. This is from user Ruvian on Steam. The chill music, the neon, the art style, all on point. The absolute beauty of the game, though, that narrative design and writing. I know these characters inside and out. I just met them. It was honest and decent and truthful. Somehow, playing this felt like a balm, like swinging on a hammock in between two palm trees, just over the water. Well done, devs. Well done.
Wow. That's so nice. That's really nice, yeah.
That's so nice.
That's really
That's
nice.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice.
I think we got like we got a lot of great coverage in like the LA Times and like the Washington Post talking about the big themes and about gig labor and algorithmic like driving society through AI and treating service workers with humanity and all and like emotional system, all that stuff, right? But just like how nice is it to have someone say like this soothed my soul and I felt like it was like honest. That's so nice, right?
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
Some of my favorite reviews is just people being like, oh, like my favorite kinds of reviews are the ones that people are like, I found this game at the right time. Like, there have been a few instances where someone's like, oh, I finally sat down, I played this game, and I'm going through a thing, and it meant a lot to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like seeing
I-
in the same. Oh, sorry, Paula. I like seeing in the same regard, players' stories who felt like it was the first time they'd been like represented in a game, and like in an authentic way. And that was something that like I know, to everyone involved, like that's super cool to know that actually came through. And so again, it's kudos for the writing and everything, obviously. But it really is just like such a cool thing to know that we were part of something like that, and to know like that was the stuff that I think meant the most to me, like reading it. Again, individual players who just like said something truthful and obviously showed that like the writing and the game itself were like a truthful thing.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I think like that what you're saying, Joe, what I've heard that like, oh, I see myself in this representation, like that's really awesome. And the character that I see that the most about is Azul, which always makes me feel really good because we worked so hard on that character. And we all put like so much attention and care into making them. So to see that that character resonates is especially gratifying. I think like for me personally, I don't remember the tweet and I didn't save it, but it was shortly after the game came out, and there's a woman that tweeted that she had completed the game, she had done the boss battle, and she was like, whoever wrote this has clearly been in like an emotionally abusive relationship, and they captured it, and I felt like the gaslighting was spot on, like it was all just so right on. And that was exactly what I was like wanting to hear, was like that imaginary motivation as I was writing. Like I hope someone says that, because it was like so much. We all drew on our personal experiences so much, and it's painful to do that, and it's kind of weird to be like, oh, good, someone else had a terrible relationship, and they recognize that. But I think it's ultimately empowering, and to kind of, when people really get that it's about that kind of difficult friendship, I feel good about that.
Yeah.
Laura?
I have one.
Laura, yeah.
So I was trying really hard to not look at when it came out on Apple Arcade. I was trying really hard to not look at reviews. I was really nervous. I was just scared to like see bad things, so I wasn't looking a lot. And then I remember I was in an airport and I glanced at one, and I remember sending it to Paula because I was like, oh my god, like I took a screenshot of it. I was so excited, and I think this is the one. So this I'll read a part of it. It's kind of long, but it starts, wow, what an experience. The first couple of rides were good, but after picking up a passenger a few times and beginning to build out relationships, I couldn't put it down. Really, I don't think I've seen better character design and narrative paths in a game. Without spoiling anything, and it's really tempting to talk about a few rides in particular, the real magic is in the character's non-binary nature. There wasn't a single passenger that I didn't both like and dislike, and that's real life. This let me commit to my choices without my usual min-maxing and save scumming, a welcome relief, knowing that there wasn't a right or wrong way to talk to someone, just my way for the character I was building.
It's amazing.
And there's some more, but yeah.
Great.
I love that one.
So great.
Thoughtful reviews for a thoughtful game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so great knowing, like, because we explored so many different ways that each ride could play out, right? And like over-designing and redesigning the emotion system to be like detailed enough, but not right, like not enough to like, and right, like having every choice both feel meaningful, but also that there's no like wrong choice ever. Like, just looking back on it, I just see how we like tried to do something really, really hard on so many levels at the same time. Right? So it's really, really gratifying to hear people who like picked up on that and saw how that's distinct from a lot of visual novels and a lot of like choice-driven games.
Yeah.
I think it speaks to how well Laura and Vincent and their team really balanced the visuals of the field grid, because it could easily have been like too obvious, or people could have just played to the field grid. But we had so many meetings, and you guys worked so hard and were so brilliant to like make it reflect in emotional nuance in a way that was still readable. So I'm so impressed by what you guys came up with.
And Laura did last year for the LudoNarraCon. She did the awesome like feel grid like breakdown, which if people haven't seen, they should see, because that's actually like a really.
We're gonna rebroadcast it for this year.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Perfect.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Thanks. That was fun. That was a year ago? Oh my god.
I
Yeah,
know.
I know. I know, it's crazy how fast it goes. It's pretty nuts.
Does anyone else want to go on reviews or any sort of response, critics as well?
I was trying to find some. I thought I had saved some of my favorite sort of tweets. I don't read reviews either. Like I actually read through a few, but I'll get about halfway through and I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah,
Like,
you get the idea.
I get the idea, and I'm like, because I just don't want it to get in my head. Same reason, it's like you can't chase that. I'm not trying to make a thing to get a great review. It's more of just like you want to try and make sure that the thing hits. And so, Twitter can be pretty garbage for a lot of things, but it's been really great in terms of just getting a sense of how people feel about our game, and just like just the little quips and people like just seeing how it hits people is really, really spectacular. One of my favorites was this was like, just somebody called out like all the things that they just loved in the game. They were like, wait, so they have like non-binary characters.
Oh, I have that open right now. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah,
I found that before.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
This was a recent one, right? This was everyone's sleeping on Animal. Everyone's talking about Animal Crossing, but sleeping on. Okay. Everyone keeps posting about Animal Crossing while sleeping on the brilliance of NeoCab, which has lesbian drama, calm music and soothing vibe, a storyline that honors the value of emotions, a well-written choose-your-own-adventure style, women of color protagonist with great hair. And then also the game and protagonist are super anti-capitalist and anti-corporate monopoly, which is really helping me deal with the horrors of American politics lately. Thank you for giving me this virtual oasis.
Fucking good.
Yeah.
Yay.
Was that the one, Vincent?
That was exactly the one. Yeah, that's exactly.
Wow, that person really got it.
Yeah. It's just nice feeling like you appreciate getting appreciation for like all the hard work. You know what I mean? And like some of these things, just like everything that you see in a game, every tiny little morsel that your eye catches or whatever is it's just like there's so much craft that goes into it and so much work that goes into it, and so like every little thing that people call out is always just like a huge win, from like how the emotion system blends into each other, or like how the feel grid reads and feels genuine, to like the design of a character, not just like the visuals, but like their whole storyline and everything like that, and like the music. It's just like really great to see appreciation for all those things, because man, you just like, it is just a dogfight to get anything done in a video game. Like making a video game is so hard, and it's like like you end up, the metaphor I use a lot to describe games is like you start out being like, I'm gonna plan a 9-course Thanksgiving dinner, and it's gonna have everything. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna have the yams and the turkey and the pepperoni sauce. And then by the very end of the game, you have a really kick-ass entree. No sides. It's a really amazing, like, banana nut loaf. And and that is going to be fantastic. But it's like, it's hard because you start with these aspirations of like, man, we're going to have so many characters and we're going to have this cool location and this event is awesome. And you want to get all that in. And every time you have to cut one of those away, it's necessary, but it kills you because you feel like oh shit, like if that was in the game, this game would have been even better. And it's always going to be in your head. But at the end, like now having some distance from it, you're like, geez, that is a really kick-ass entree. Everyone's going to remember that banana bread,
Yeah.
Like you're not going to remember the splendor of the spread. You remember the one dish, and like that's just how it goes. Because you get on a small team like this, you're resource limited. You can't keep making the game forever. At a certain point, you just have to make your statement. And it's just like really great just getting that appreciation, because it's hard. It's very hard, especially working on a very emotional game, to like deal with that, like when you're done, because you're like, is this is this it? Is this good enough? And you have no awareness of what the thing is when you're done. You're just like, oh my God, what? I hope the Vincent that existed the last 2 years had his eye on the ball, because I'm like, I got nothing left, like that's the crazy feeling. When you cross that finish line, you're just like, you can't see anymore.
Yeah.
It's really nuts,
That's so true. Yeah.
So well said, Vincent. I thought it was I really like that metaphor about remembering the one you're not trained, because we only have like a 12-course meal plan when I look back at it. But and I'm just really so proud of the team for being able to execute so well on the things that we knew were the most important, to like constantly maintain those priorities of what we thought was most important, to like work around the things we had to cut, which was like an insanely hard job for Paula and the writing team, especially, to like constantly be like holding the new world as we were like deleting parts of it in our heads, and to be able to like stick like what I think is a really delicious piece of banana bread at the end of it is kind of like amazing. Anyway, this is the part where we self-congratulate. I hope you're watching.
Awesome.
And if you don't agree, well, I don't know, put a little comment. You're going to do it anyway. You can say whatever you want. I'm not going to read it. We were
playing the game on Steam for 4 hours. You're not completely in love with it. Please refund the game. Please.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so funny. Patrick and I, when we were, I think it was like one of the E3s we were at. We were on Twitch and we were like showing a demo of the game, and it was funny because like my family was watching. My mom and my little brother were watching. My brother like loves Twitch, and so they were watching. And then when it came out, my mom was like, she's like, I can't believe some of those people in the comments. And I'm like, oh, I was like, don't tell me any of that shit. I don't want to know any of that. No, I don't need that in my life.
No.
It's like, who's this guy? Or whatever.
That was me, Vincent, the whole time.
Yeah. I thought that was you, like Dank 420.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah. That's exactly my username. Yep.
I think about this all the time. Paul was like, it's weird seeing a comment for something you worked on.
Yeah.
And whether it's heartfelt or angry, and then the name is always Ding Dong 420 69.
Yes.
Yeah, and those are something so beautiful.
Beautiful and eloquent, and then you're like, oh man, it'd be so sick to be able to like just retweet this. Oh, Vape Lord 420 _ 69 no scope.
That's our demo.
That's
their bio, no scope to the Dizome. I love it, man. It's
weird time. It's a weird
don't
time.
you feel usernames like there's this weird like when you started with usernames back in the 1800s when I was first getting onto a computer, you had like it was like that film Hackers, like you had like a call sign.
Yeah.
And then a certain thing where like now everyone did all their business online. So it's like I don't want to like reply to business emails with like a name troll, 666 or whatever my dumb name was after I read 1984. And so it's like, or like Scaradactyl, that's the other one I go by, is like
you just lost yourself, Vincent. I hope you're okay with that.
That's fine. I don't go by that anymore. I'm easy to find now. It's just my dumb. Everything's my stupid name now, and it's just.
I don't know that anymore. I was only got on DeviantArt, LiveJournal, Tinder.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I decided for something recently, and I was like, God, what happened to like? Not only have I gotten old, my online persona's gotten old. I am no longer Scaradactyl. I am just Lazy Maria. Oh, it's so boring.
Growing up.
Older. Me and my username getting older.
Scaradactyl's got his briefcase, goes to work.
Looks at himself in the mirror, he's like, I would have hated me in high school.
What happened to you, Scaradactyl?
Yeah.
Look at Look at the dactyl you've become.
Look at this.
That's what's truly scary.
You're a husk of a pterodactyl.
You fucking yuppie.
Yeah.
Pterodactyl. Haven't heard that name in years.
Yeah. I don't go by that name no more.
Yeah.
I have one brief piece of information before I go on. We do have a small update coming up for a free update for all NeoCab fans. Don't have like a date to announce yet, but we are coming out with Arabic soon, which is so exciting. It almost killed me, but we got it. So I'm super excited to share the game in Arabic. And also 3 new rides, 3 like totally new rides with characters that you know and love, including some new ending epilogue rides. Paula, do you want to like give a tease on any of those or anything like that?
Well, a fan favorite has been Fiona, and so we do have a little Fiona bonus content. That's a character that we all really love, and it's been excellent to see people respond to her arc. So we put in a little ending for Fiona, a different ending for Fiona.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. I was thinking, I know it's late. People have to eat dinner soon, but do we want to? Anyone who feels comfortable talking about what they're up to post NeoCab, I think people would love to hear what you're doing now or what you're playing now, because I think even those of us who didn't immediately jump in on another indie game project are playing some great indie games and seeing it could be like one of our Apple Arcade cohort or just like whatever amazing experience Nintendo is always introducing.
Yeah.
I will jump. You go, Laura.
Okay.
You go.
Go. So, my husband and I moved to San Francisco.
Woo!
I now work at Google. I work on Krista's team, and Krista also worked on NeoCab, so she worked on the identity and the UI and some marketing stuff. So that's been awesome. I'm playing a lot of Animal Crossing right now. Not playing many other games. Just kind of turning to Animal Crossing in these times. But yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. Go ahead, Joe. Or did you?
I sold Animal Crossing after 1 week.
You sold
and
it?
I wanted to declare that I made a joke to a friend. I said, I'm getting bored with Animal Crossing, and he was like, yeah, me too, man. And I was like, oh, let's fuck around, post it on eBay real quick, see what happens. And it sold in 5 minutes. So I was like, I guess I'm selling Animal Crossing, guys. But I was playing that for a week.
Well, what's funny is by doing that, you were still playing Animal Crossing.
I know. It's totally. It's all. I can't get away from it. But the good thing is, I started playing. I'm trying to play catch up on a lot of stuff that I like missed or like I really wanted to get to. But I finally like dipped my toe into What Remains of Edith Finch, which I've been wanting to check out for a long time. And I paused my progress on it because I want to basically be in like the like headspace where I could really dedicate the time to like immersing myself in it. 'Cause it's just like it's super beautiful and super intriguing. And then also I've been doing a lot of like we've been doing since we've been home we've been doing like a lot of like landscapey gardening stuff, which has been really nice. And I'm building a new studio computer, which is awesome. But then also in terms of what I'm working on, like I've been working on music. My goal is to release something like purely, as Office again in the future. So I'm working on that and basically turning down anything and everything that isn't like design related at the moment. So just kind of fucking around basically, which is wonderful. So Manja, someone else.
I can go. So a little like addendum to the like post NeoCab experience is that I was super burnt out, and I like could not write like at all. It was really, really hard. So I did a lot of like just kind of getting back to creativity in like gentle ways with like art, which has been kind of fun. Just like for personal projects. So just wanted to put that out there as like the nature of creativity. I've worked on 2 other indie games since both are unannounced. One is with the production studio Sweet Baby, who is Kim Belair is part of that group. She worked on NeoCab and was excellent to work with. And then the others with the National Film Board of Canada. And so we'll see what happens from there. I really like games. I really like working in games. I really like also being freelance. So we'll see. We'll see.
Cool. Go for it, Vincent.
Oh, okay. What have I been up to? Oh, so I was gonna take some time off, and then I didn't because some old friends of mine who I worked with at Disney joined a mobile game company called Jam City, based down here in Los Angeles, and they needed an art director, and so I jumped, I jumped into that like almost right away once I was done, and it's been great so far. It's like kind of re-entering that world. It's a very different game space than indie games and stuff, but it was really great because I learned I had no idea how much I learned over the 2.5 years it took to make NeoCab, and like that space has shifted more towards like narrative games, so I was able to like bring a lot of that learning into that space. And the team is fantastic. They're people I've worked with for years before, and they're all incredibly smart, talented people. So I learned a lot from them as well. And it was nice just being like, not being on a project that was like so heavy, I think, is what I needed. Because, I had a similar sort of burnout thing where like I couldn't really do any personal drawing or anything like that for a while. And I played in a band and it kind of affected that too, where I just like had no like raw creative juice, but I could go and I could help this team and help them get their game like back on track. And so it was actually a really great experience because it was like I could like work on assisting people rather than like trying to like push my own agenda forward. So it really been an excellent experience. And then so I'm still doing that and working with them on all sorts of stuff. And then game wise, I played After Party, which is beautiful and I really liked. And then I played the Outer Wilds until I decided the Outer Worlds, not the Outer Wilds. I didn't play.
I want to play both.
Outer Worlds was pretty cool, but I started missing baseball, so then I started playing MLB The Show 20, and I never play sports games, and sports games are crazy. They're so crazy, and then I got my mom into it, so now I'm basically playing exhibition games with my mom.
That's amazing.
It's really cool. She almost beat me up last week. She came back in the top of the 8th and scored 4 runs on me off one pitcher and even the score. And I was like sweating buckets. I only won on a lucky catch. That was it. It was amazing. So I've been having a lot of fun with that because it's like playing a completely different game that I never played before, and just kind of just appreciating like the effort of it, like the hard work that goes into it. It's unbelievable. So that, and then same thing like everyone else, just staying healthy, try to hang out. So yeah,
cool. I think I'm the last one. So yeah, to echo what Vincent and Paul were saying, I was definitely burnt to a crisp. I mean, to be honest, I feel like I was already burnt out before we shipped, and then the whole like localization and cross-platform shipping to get on like iOS, iPad, Apple TV, Mac, Switch, Windows, was like further fried me, and then God, just like bug fixes after release was also really, really hard. So yeah, I felt afterwards like I can't even imagine working for a little bit. So yeah, I went to China and traveled around there and showed the game to a bunch of at like a game show out in China, which was such a cool experience. Really, really great. It's like really surreal to see something that we made together, like the field grid, like read to a Chinese speaker who can't speak English. It's really amazing. Yeah. And yeah, there's a weird feeling of like being in the midst of these like riots where people are throwing Molotov cocktails and chunks of pavement. I literally felt like calm and just like centered, I think, because compared to being at home, like shipping a game on 5 consoles. I don't know. Seems like
Fails in comparison.
So yeah, that's why I think that like content updates after we shipped were slower than like we kind of did build an engine, so it actually would be like technically kind of like possible to make a lot more NeoCab, but I feel I think a lot of us were ready to move on, and we're really happy with where it landed, and so it really felt natural, I think, to like let the game be the statement that it was, and then like as I said, we're adding a few extra rides, which are pretty much just the backlog of ones we knew we wanted in the game anyway, and just ran out of time. So it's nice to be able to put that like little bow on it, but not planning to do any like new NeoCab anytime soon. And then I've got like a couple interesting like employment things that I'm not ready to talk about yet. I have a couple like game ideas that are like as exciting to me as NeoCab was when it first was a newborn baby idea. But I think like a lot of folks here, I need a little bit of a break to like decompress and like not be making an indie game on its own, because I don't know who said this, but like it's kind of a miracle that any indie game project ships. Like you have no idea how hard it is to do it. So
I remember Felix really talking about that, like, it was like throughout the process and, early on, in the middle of, and like late, in the process, like just like, it's absolutely a miracle that any game ships, and like those words like stuck with me throughout the entire process. Like,
yep.
And especially after it launched, it was like, whoa, we actually launched a game.
Yeah. It's so nuts. Like making games is the craziest thing. And it's like, you almost have no conception of even how like, especially on an indie game where like you kind of manage your part of your thing and you have a purview into the other sections, but you're like, I don't know how the hell anyone got it. How like it's like I'm gonna handle my part, and then I'm pretty sure this person's gonna handle their part, and I have no idea how that's gonna happen, but I know it's gonna happen, and then it becomes this like thing that just exists, and it's fucking weird. It's so crazy.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's just like it's super, super odd, but amazing too. Man, it takes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just takes everything.
There's that Thanos meme where it's like, Thanos, did you ship your game? Yes. What did it cost? Everything.
Everything. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They're just slowly devolves into deep personal.
My wife and I were talking about being Thanos, and like this is after like I was like I had a really tough week at work, just like really busy, and she'd been going crazy at her job, and she was like, we were talking about it, she's like, oh, I want to be Thanos. It's like I want to be one of the people that gets Thanos. She's like, because then it's just over for you. You don't get to live with being Thanos. You're just like, oh, finally. That's the way.
Yeah. Do you get to come back in 5 years when coronavirus is over? And you're like, hey, nice. Yeah.
I know, right? I'd be pissed. I'm like, oh, this is. Now I gotta go buy shoes again? Get the hell out of here! It's a nightmare.
Well, on that note, I think this was super fun. If you do, I know we're kind of doing this not live because of some technical issues, so if you have been following along and asking questions in the chat, we'll see about, maybe we can answer them in the Steam chat to all LudoNarraCon folks, or maybe we can do another one of these sometime.
We just answer a bunch right now, right? So, okay, first question, the answer is purple. Second question,
Unity?
2 eels. 2 eels.
Two
Question, I think
eels.
Paula has the answer to.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, and then Joe.
That would be, actually, and I mean, I know Patrick told me not to say this, but NeoCab 2, spring 2024.
You're on first, folks.
Yeah, it's called NeoCab 2, this time there's guns.
You put Agonon battling the pain worm.
Oh.
It's a roguelike shooter.
It's all taking rights. You could buff up so you could fight the pinworm. Hey, if that's the game, I'm in.
Yes,
right now.
I'm in.
I'm boom, fitting right now.
I'm already talking to Monster Energy about product placements.
Yes.
That's so good.
Oh god. Okay, that's an amazing note to end on. Does anyone want to shout out their LudoNarraCon panels when you're going to be on a panel? I know that Paula, you're going to be on one. I think I'm going to be on one.
Tomorrow, I'm going to be on one tomorrow, talking about emotional storytelling and games that really try to go beyond entertainment. And that's going to be on the 24th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. But then, of course, like looping throughout. And there are some like truly excellent people on that panel. We had a little pre-discussion, and it was extremely interesting. So
Awesome.
Nice. Yep, and I'll be on Storytelling Setbacks on Saturday the 24th at 1:45, like 2 p.m. Pacific. And yeah, also a really cool panel. Beck Saltzman works on Overland and a bunch of other great games. AVB and a couple other people are going to be talking about like difficulties in writing for games and like how we've solved them in the past. So should be great for those of you who are interested in writing for games someday. And yeah, I'll give everyone a final word. Thanks again for watching. Have a happy LudoNarraCon. Follow at NeoCab on all the socials if you don't already, and please play our game and let us know what you think.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye.
And I'm gonna be on a panel in 5 minutes, showing my dog how to do brushes.
Don't just promise that to the internet and not do it, because people are going to fix that.
This is going to make the best part. We can edit this in after the credits, and it'll be like the hidden scene at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
This whole talk right here. That callback to the brushes.
Anyway, Max watching me do it.